Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Dharam Singh, and today I am with very lovely, very smart, and experienced program project portfolio manager. Her name is Dana Walker. Dana, welcome. How are you today?
Hi, Dharam. It's great to see you. I'm doing really well today, despite the rain. We have tropical storm coming up the coast.
Wow, okay. Just stay safe and stay inside.
Yes, yes. I think it'll be downgraded by the time it gets to us, so we'll be good.
Perfect, perfect. Hey, welcome to this webinar. I know we met long time back. Looks like a long time back, last year.
Yes,
Uh,
I know. But I guess it's like 2 years.
wow.
Time, yeah,
Yeah,
time flies.
time flies actually. Yeah, when you contacted me, Dharam, I want to do PFMP, and you did your PFMP, and here we are after 1 year and 3 months, and 2 months, 3 months after that time. We got. So, how are you going?
I'm doing well. Just working through some organizational changes. I have some new players. I been a IT project portfolio manager at Baltimore County Government, located in Maryland. I've been working here at the government for the past 15 years. And obviously, with government, there's always a change in management every couple of years with elections. So, trying to make sure that keep the the processes in place and educating folks on the portfolio process.
Perfect. Great, great. And I like to welcome all of you who are attending today, and you have been attending again and again. Thank you for coming to these sessions and keep learning from these sessions. And I'm excited to bring all the sharp-minded people from around the world. This is probably going to be my 250th webinar, maybe more. I stop counting after some time, but it's going great. So if you are new to my to this kind of webinar, make sure you go to join and subscribe my YouTube channel and you can watch all the previous webinars and going to be like future webinars. And who knows, you will be sitting in front of me sometime in future talking about something something special about your experience, which we're going to extract today from Dana. All right. And the good news is I will be sharing a PDU code with you guys. So you can use that PDU code and you can earn one PDU. And I know some people, they don't care about PDU. They are here to learn. So, and I will try my best to bring the best out of Dana and most out of this session. So let me know if we can do anything better. Feel free to ask questions, and there's a question pad. So I love to see more questions, and more question means you are listening and you are engaged, and that's what we like to see. And I know Dana, don't ask too many questions, but that's my job to ask questions and extract most out of you. And given that this topic is very interesting, strategy for building resilient IT portfolio project portfolios. So, and it's very important in the current VUCA world, how to make your portfolio even more resilient and deliver the best out of your portfolio to your organization. So it's a very interesting topic. It can be very technical if somebody thinks that is, hey, strategy. I'm not interested in strategy, but believe me, this strategy topic is very interesting. And if you can align your project, program, portfolio with the organization strategy and deliver the organization the expected, the outcome from your project program, you're doing great. Nana, before we get jump into the topic, I like to hear from you. You're not taking too long on the journey, your PFMP journey. I know you did your PFMP pass exam last year, 10th of May, 2023. Yeah, as I said, long time
Yes.
ago. Like
Yes,
yesterday.
yes. So, sure. I started the journey with you back in June of 2022. and just want to say that I really enjoyed your classes. And they were really good. The documentation was really good. Your training classes were flexible. There were plenty of times where obviously we were studying and doing classes over the summer, and depending on everybody's schedule, we were able to, be flexible, maybe reschedule things. They were really interactive. It wasn't just boring lectures. We were very interactive, having discussions and talking about different experiences that we all had. And that was amazing as well because I had classmates from all over the world. I had somebody from Canada, somebody who was in New York, but was actually from Sweden. So he had gone back to Sweden and gotten married and ended up moving over there. Um, so, and I would just say, for anybody who is interested in pursuing their PFMP, um, once you get started, or even before you get started, to get your application completed. You should do it as quickly as possible. Time will get away from you, and I will say that it felt that way for me. And then, once you're into the training and before you take your test, you just want to study, study, study. And then not just the studying part, but, and I'm sure other folks have taken other exams, but I remember one of the classmates had said, it's like training for a marathon. You need to be prepared to take that long exam. Make sure you have a bit of speed as you roll through those questions, and just memorizing the knowledge areas, the inputs, the tools and techniques, and the outputs. Really, laying that foundation, having that memorized, really helped with the other stuff. And then you have practice tests, and checking your timing, and then you can go take your test. So
There you go.
those would be my tips for anybody out there interested.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dana. Look, it was great working with you and all the three people in the class that got to PFMP in the time frame, expected time frame. I'm
Right.
excited.
It was good. We were a team and we all made it. We all got certified. So that was good.
So, like, I like this group program where people get to stay after my program finish. You guys stay together and keep learning and stay supporting each other. That's the best part of this. Um, and I'm very happy to say, as of now, 145 PFMPs from 25 countries, and more to come. I'm looking forward for 150th celebration. I know it's another number, but I will always look for number. And 511 PgMPs, if you are interested in PgMP. So that's where I'm very, very happy. I can see number of people here. They already gone through my PgMP, PfMP programs and already got the certificate. So Dana, you're not only one here. I can see many people here in the listening today, and some of them actually already in your position. They're what you're talking today, in your position. So I'm happy to see some of those people as well coming back and learning from you now.
Uh, Very good. Very good. And it's funny because it seems like, as we're congratulating other folks as they get their certifications, I know somebody had said, welcome to the top of the mountain. So,
There you go.
your journey, and, that you've made it, it's a great achievement.
And it is because there are only even 1800, less than 1800 PFMPs globally. So think about in 11 years, not even 2000 PFMPs. That means you are going with a differentiator. Learning is difficult. These exams are not easy, PGMP, PFMP, but the
Right.
once you get there, you will feel that yeah, right, like top of the mountain, you achieved a milestone,
Right.
which is great. Um,
Right, right. And all those years of like doing project management and but portfolio management, it's an art, making going through that process and determining what projects are the right projects to be focusing on, and pulling all that information together. It is. I know somebody had asked me the difference between portfolio management and project management, And I said, this is all the prep work. This is all the, making those decisions. And, there are companies out there, places where it just, all the requests, all these project requests can come at you like a, fire hose. And, this is how you kind of control the gates of, what gets done and what might wait until a future time. So very
Yeah.
important work, or you overload your organization.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. And somebody did ask, how many months did you study for?
Did I say?
For PF?
Oh, so yeah, so I started with the training in June, and so we were probably finished classes like around October. So from October until May, I was studying.
Yeah. Look, everybody's journey is different. Some people do the exam almost immediately. Some people take time, get
Right.
busy, and life change, and office work and other things come in between. But the important is stay focused and get this done in the I mean, most important, have a timeline with you and go for that.
Right, right. In retrospect, I really could have, knowing what I know now, I could have done it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like once you get to the other side, you see, you realize, what to focus on. And so that's why I said the trick was, memorizing and knowing those inputs, those outputs, your tools and techniques. That's what's going to get you through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. And just before we get into the questions and my interview, I'd like to let you know that I have shared a few links on the chat. Please have a look. If you are preparing for PgMP, PfMP, there are a couple of links. These are a little bit old with PgMP, a little bit older now because things have changed from that time when I recorded the PgMP one. But if you want to discuss the current and want to find out how can I assist you, you can always talk to Dharam. I have a link called, just type www.talktodharam.com, easy, and you get 15-minute time. You can talk to me pretty much anything. Of course, you will talk about PgMP, PfMP, or I can assist you with anything. Happy to help you. And I have also shared a couple of links with the YouTube channel where you can see the previous videos and the future videos and the podcast. I have been recording lots of topics with many of the industry experts, podcasts, where Thomas Valente, more than 70 podcasts with him, and Justin, I think 25 already, and many other folks who are supporting building this knowledge pool. So please go and watch and subscribe and keep learning from these webinars. And also, as I mentioned, I have one PDU code which I will be giving you somewhere later part of the program. And if you're watching this as a recording, you have to reach out to me, explaining, telling what you learned from this program, and I will be happy to give you one PDU. All right. So as I mentioned, the topic today is very interesting: strategies for building a resilient IT project portfolio. So let's see how Dana going to help us to build the strategies. Okay. What are the key challenges in managing IT project portfolio, and how do you address them to ensure resilience?
So the key challenges in managing portfolios, one would be resource management, the people and the funding, governance, having good process and control, change management, risk management, and performance measures. So resource management would be having the allocations between supporting your current book of business and the hours needed for projects. So some organizations have resources that do both. So being able to have a process in place to have a placeholder for hours for support as well as projects. Having limited resource types, you only have so many report writers, DBAs to get the work done. Also having the right tools to manage, report, and track the resource time. Working with resource managers or office managers to review resource needs, training needs, identifying consulting services for additional resources needed for particular projects, or maybe needing to hire more staff for those types of tasks. Funding, another resource, having limited funding or funding with business rules and deadlines for use can be very challenging. And to address all of these, the portfolio strategic plan contains the resources, the funding for the initiatives, and how those contribute to the objectives. Your project portfolio, or I'm sorry, the project charter will grant the portfolio manager the authority to apply resources to projects. And you need to have a good portfolio management information system for tracking, managing, and reporting on the resources, as well as project information. Another challenge was governance. Lacking process controls and oversight can lead to poor project performance. Having unplanned projects or problems taking more time than anticipated. Nothing like having a good old power outage to rally the troops. Another area of business taking higher priority than others and using the majority of the resources, such as in government, we have public safety obviously takes higher priority, and then the other areas of business are competing for remaining resources. So in order to address those type of challenges, your portfolio management plan will have the governance model needed for those, and having strategic drivers that consistently prioritize projects and hopefully will apply resources equitably across your lines of business. Change management. The increasing business demands make it harder to track all the changes made in the organization, such as data and system changes. So your portfolio management plan will address the change control and management processes for your organization. Another challenge is risk management, identifying and analyzing root causes and responding in a timely manner. Addressing that type of challenge, you would have your risk management plan and tools and techniques such as weighted rankings and scoring techniques. Examples of those would be the probability and impact matrix, and the tornado diagrams. A plan should document the organization's risk tolerance, their risk process, and identifying risk owners. Performance measures, establishing key performance indicators or KPIs for projects, as well as the overall portfolio. And regularly tracking and reporting on performance will help areas identifying areas that need attention.
Perfect. Great. Thank you for sharing. You mentioned about having good PMI system. PMI is portfolio program or project management information system. So, I think given that in the current age where a lot of tools are coming with AI based or machine learning based tools, which can help you to manage your portfolio program and project even better. So look around or ask. You can ask me which is the best tool or which one I can recommend, or somebody else can do a search on Google and find out the best, and then do your understanding whether this can eliminate my pain points and give me the better control, better dashboard, which can help me to see things through and make the decision at the right time.
Right. Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, Dana, I have my other question. Can you share specific strategies or best practices that have proven effective in building resilient IT project portfolio in your experience?
Yes. So effective strategies and best practices would be aligning with the organizational strategy, regular balancing of the portfolio, having risk management, portfolio management plan, keeping up with industry best practices and standards, and communication management. So having diverse organizational goals and objectives will be creating a vision for the portfolio and creating a vision for the portfolio that aligns with your organizational goals and objectives. Um, Regular balancing of the portfolio helps to maintain asset allocation and minimize risks. Having a risk management plan and assessing potential internal and external risks that could affect the portfolio. This can help increase the organizational resilience and aid with decision making. Portfolio management plan that includes process and procedures to accommodate unplanned projects, your fly-ins, to include reprioritization and realignment of your resources. Also, being able to address strategic change. And what I mean by that is a strategic change could be, an example could be, there was a security issue at other local businesses. Now, the security issue didn't affect your business, but understanding that there are cyber issues happening out there to other organizations, you might want to reprioritize and take a moment to assess your current security situation and to ensure that you wouldn't cause or have any issues that the other areas are experiencing. So this would cause a shift in your portfolio if you were to pull some resources to just kind of address a situation like that. So that's an example of strategic change. A communication plan, managing expectation with the organization and your stakeholders, because it is just so important to have management buy-in of the portfolio process. I'm sure everybody has experienced just how difficult it is to manage when executive management is continuing to ask for things and not understanding the impact it'll have on the current portfolio and funding, because they all want you to continue what you're doing and just add this one more thing, just this one more thing, just this little thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it has that it's going to impact your portfolio and your funding, and it's never just one more thing, really.
Just one, just one more thing. Adding it.
Right.
That's where the
Yeah.
scope creep come in picture.
Exactly.
All right. Good, good. How do organizational policies and regulations impact the resilience of IT project portfolio? And how can managers navigate those constraints effectively?
So the impact of organizational policies and regulations, it can be legal constraints, uh, personnel administration, organizational governance processes, and government or industry standards, your regulatory changes. So some examples of that, personnel administration, your hiring and firing process, and the amount of time that it takes to do those things. Also, getting people trained. Organizational governance processes, examples of those could be procurement process. That you need to take that into consideration, the time that it takes, but you can also look for efficiencies in the process, such as cooperative agreements. Governments will use other jurisdictions' competitively bid contracts. And in the words of my favorite procurement officer, cut, paste, and steal shamelessly. So we've used and borrowed language from other RFPs when needed, using the cooperative agreements, and even private businesses. I would encourage form partnerships where you can for the basics. Obviously, private industry is not going to be sharing trade secrets, but everybody uses telecom. Everybody needs hardware, software. There are GSA schedules out there that can help maybe get you better pricing for bulk buys. And then meeting with the stakeholders regarding some of those processes. I know we include purchasing and law and review priorities and status so that we all keep our eye on the ball, keep things moving. Every company or institute has either a board or a council that they need to get approvals. Understanding that process and getting on the agenda, it takes time to go through the process and get those approvals. Um, Budget cycles, planning for funding. Sometimes planning for new fiscal year will start 9 to 18 months in advance. So having a queue of projects and developing a 2 to 3 year plan is going to help you be more efficient. Navigating all of these environmental factors, what we call those, for the organizational policies and regulations, know what they are, know what the process is, um, and communication with stakeholders to get buy-in. An example of that is uh, you need to make a purchase, and we want to hurry up and rush it because we're time's of the essence. Well, don't just send something off and say it's a rush. Explaining, get that buy-in. Everybody will rally if they know that the 911 center generator needs, we have a temporary one in place, but we need to buy a new one, get the new one in place because there's a lot of risk. So, that helps rally everyone versus it just sending things up and it's a rush. And then people, yeah, well, we'll get to it when we get to it because everything's a rush. Get that buy-in, tell the story, rally your folks. Risk management, knowing how long it may take for these policies and regulations and plan for them.
Exactly. There are lots of folks out here coming from government organizations. I'm sure your experience directly coming from government will definitely help them. And I'm hearing there's a lot of procurement process and all these things. You have to be careful, and you can, and rightly said, if you can get help from other people and other documents, and why not, to speed up your process. At the same time, you have risk
Right.
of it, long wait before you get approval, and by the time technology have moved on, so you need to see if you can improve the approval cycle within organization. So I think that's something I've seen, especially in government. It takes a long time, and
Yes.
review goes to a point when, oh, no, we have to change, then come back and start again. It takes 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, maybe many years.
Right.
All right, I have a question here. When I looking to align your portfolio with organizational strategy, which we have, which we know changes practically weekly, what sort of reviews do you perform on your projects and programs?
So they have projects that are coming in on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. So we have governance meetings on a regular basis, and we will review items that are coming through, and we make determinations. We are vetting them to see uh, uh, against criteria of this with the strategic drivers, and trying to assess the urgency or the timing of when they need to be done. And if we determine that it's something that needs to uh, be put into the portfolio, we try to take a look at we take a look at the portfolio and determine if there's something that needs to slow down or be delayed so that we can fit something in, or if it's something that uh, doesn't need to be done right away. And we try to put that into, again, that queue, and trying to plan out a couple of years in advance, especially when things need funding. Because again, it takes a while to get into that budgeting cycle. So um, at the governance meetings, just taking a look at it, identifying whether it needs to be done now or later, and then going through that process of realigning the portfolio if need be.
Exactly. And making sure you do all the due diligence, analysis, ROI, and benefit cost analysis, and everything else.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Thanks, Dana. I am getting lot more questions, so that's good news. I will take the other question later. Uh, Let me come back to my question first. Okay. What
Okay.
role does stakeholder engagement play in building resilient IT portfolio, and what are your tips for effectively engaging with your stakeholders?
So first, I just want to address who the portfolio stakeholders are. They can be, or they are executive management, functional operating managers, uh, project program portfolio managers, law, budget, finance, HR, contractors, your suppliers, your external resource providers, your regulatory bodies, and others. I think sometimes we're a little limited in our thinking of who those stakeholders are. So the role of a stakeholder engagement um, is, risk, being able to identify and help address risk, whether they're issues or opportunities, because not all risk is bad. They can help mitigate or take advantage of them at an early stage in the process. Getting strategic input, getting guidance, expertise, and insight, allocating resources, having the right resources available at the right times, and communication and collaboration. They can rally the right troops, and assisting in prioritizing project requirements. What's important for achieving project success, as well as conflict resolution, addressing and identifying issues and addressing them, mediating disputes and determining mutually beneficial solutions. Um, in order to effectively engaging the stakeholders, you're going to want to do some analysis of your stakeholders and create a communication plan. So you need to interview your stakeholders, determine what their pain points, their concerns, their interests, the influence that they will have. You want to classify your stakeholders as internal and external, because that will change the way you communicate with them. You want to assess the level of interest and urgency, and what kind of information do they want? How do they want to receive their information, and how often should they receive information? Uh, Certainly don't need to inundate executive management. That's going to be, they don't need too much information, but just enough.
Yeah.
So then you'll create your portfolio. Sorry, let me just take a quick drink. Um, and you'll want to create your portfolio communication management plan and manage the portfolio information. So you'll collect your data, you'll translate it into meaningful, and make it meaningful, and provide the information in the form of dashboards, reports, and or schedule regular meetings to review.
Perfect. Yeah, so look, the stakeholder engagement is the key of whether we talk portfolio or project programs. So how do you identify them? How do you engage with them and provide the right information, right time is the key of your success. So as Dana mentioned, how you capture them, understand the expectation early enough, and just provide them enough information. The most important communication needs at the right time using right media is the key for your success.
Right.
Perfect. Once we have a business strategy in place, then would a portfolio roadmap not be a way to stagger work by prioritizing projects that must be delivered? Then if a project is parachuted in, we can say which priority project do we wish to me to drop. Do you agree, and how would you go about getting such a system accepted and backed by directors of the business?
Yes, it is. And I think that it would, honestly, it would depend because I would say that you would want to also uh, put that parachuted project against your strategic drivers. Now, obviously, if the county executive or your executive management is, saying that it's one of their projects that they would like to see done, then you would want to take your strategic drivers, take a look at where that project would fall or what would make sense to delay or stop, and go with a recommendation. Or there may be times where you would say, here's our portfolio list. In order to put this in, obviously there are certain resources that you will need to use. So I think it would be obvious, like, and here are the options. We could drop this one, or this one, because these are the resources that are going to be needed so that the person requesting the project can see the impact that it's going to have on the portfolio. So I wouldn't necessarily just say which project you want me to drop, because not all projects are using those particular resources. So obviously you'd need to come with some of that homework done, some of that analysis done.
Yeah, and this can be a typical PFMP question because when somebody do bring a new project, and you need to analyze with respect to their strategies or the selection criteria, and and if that has to be done, let the person whoever bringing this project as important know the impact of adding this on to the current projects and to the current objectives,
Right.
and put that in there in the code. Okay, this is what going to happen by adding your project into this. Are you okay with this? Let them take the risk, risk of that.
Right, exactly. And right, what is that risk? Because maybe some of the projects had other dependencies. There could be a downstream effect to making the change and having them understand what that effect is.
Yeah,
Yep.
because remember, they are not the one who running the portfolio. They can bring the ideas and everything. This is a great idea, but you are the one who can see, with the help of your project program managers, what are the impact on current objectives, and if they are happy to accept that, okay, we are fine with this. Don't worry about it. Let's put this on side, and let's take this high priority project, which may be required. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so we're getting lots of questions, so we'll come back to those questions. Let me take my other question here. But thank you for all the questions you're bringing. It's great to have so many questions. I've not seen
Yes.
many webinars where so many questions coming. That means I'm going to keep Dana busy more time here.
Not a problem.
Right. How do you balance the need for innovation and flexibility with the requirement for stability and compliance in IT project portfolios?
Yeah, very challenging. So, balancing the innovation, flexibility, and compliance. I would say, your strategic drivers, risk mitigation, and having an adaptable approach.
Yeah.
Your strategic drivers should help you balance between your strategic and compliance projects. Obviously, things that are deadline driven are going to rise to the top. Um, and adhering to regulatory requirements and legal mandates, obviously, that's a given. Keeping pace with industry standards and best practices. You just can't let that get away from you, especially with technology, because you'll get to a point where you have to. You'll have to make that decision to keep up with the right versions and things. And then system replacements. You need to keep the lights on. Have to do your those types of replacements. Risk risk mitigation, identifying risks early, assessing the potential impact and determining the strategies to minimize impact. Organizations should be flexible to take on challenges and opportunities and develop plans to handle both. And having contingency plans, identifying alternative approaches and fallback options,
Yeah.
but still meet the desired outcomes. And having an adaptable approach, using flexible methodologies such as Agile, Scrum, or Kanban, or a hybrid of them. It breaks your projects down into smaller tasks. It prioritizes deliverables by business value and allows for iterative feedback and lessons learned. And engaging your stakeholders throughout the project lifecycle early and often allows for early identification, intervention, and resolution of potential issues to assist in minimizing impacts on timelines and milestones.
Perfect. Good, good. Thank you. I want to let people know that I have also shared a discount code in case you are interested to join my upcoming. Actually, I will be next month. I'm attending the PMI Global Conference, and before the conference, I have planned two programs, one for PgMP, another one for PfMP. 13th, 14th, 15th of September as PfMP bootcamp, and 5th, 16th, 17th, 18th as PgMP bootcamp. If you are visiting, if you are joining the global conference, please come and join this program. I'm sure you will enjoy it. Not only conference and my company, and going through this the complex process of PgMP PfMP, and it's already discounted at the moment. But if you do use this discount code, you will further save $100. So this code will not be applicable for a long time. So want to join the program, take the code, and I'll share the links with you and register as soon as possible. If you don't see the coupon code or the PDU code, let me know. And people watching this webinar, the recording, please reach out to me for the PDU code, and you can ask me for at that time any discount code available for any specific program you're looking for. Okay, so let's continue the journey. I have still many questions to go, Dana. Okay,
Okay.
and
Yes.
perfect. You guys are great. You're keeping us busy.
Yes. Keep them
All right,
coming.
exactly. So this is the question I got from the registration form. Let me take this one first. What are the key challenges of managing a technology transformation portfolio?
Yes. Having clear goals and objectives for that transformation,
Yep.
having strong sponsorship, or making sure you have strong sponsorship, um, resource management, making sure you're hiring, or you have that big picture. You're
Yeah.
hiring resources for the new technology, you're training your current resources, and I'm sure that out of that, some organizational chart changes will probably happen. A change to the organization, having the right contract vehicles to purchase supplies, and changes to the workflow. Also determining the right values through key performance metrics, changing your KPIs, and updating your customer interactions if needed.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Do you make use of artificial intelligence? If so, how? What are some of the best practices around its use? Good question.
It is a good question. And so artificial intelligence is relatively new, and government typically does not jump right into the newest and greatest technology until it's been out there and a little more proven. And we are very focused on our cybersecurity. So I, I can't really speak to that very well because we are not doing very much with artificial intelligence. So, Dharam, I don't know if you are able to speak to that question better
Yeah,
than I.
yeah, definitely. From my experience,
Mhm.
and especially the chat GPT and some of the artificial intelligence tools coming out, or PMIS tools, definitely can add value to you. Yes, there are risks around. If many organizations have some security concerns, and make sure whatever your information you're putting on this chat GPT, for example, or any of the social media, this can be seen by somebody else without your knowledge, and that can be risk to your organization. So be careful what you're putting there. But yes, these tools can be very, very powerful. For example, if you are writing a response to RFP, and you can ask, hey, I'm putting this RFP and maybe some information about that. Can you help me to, that get the starting point at least in the, write, expand it, write it, and maybe ask again, to the thing is that, artificial intelligence or AI based tools are great if you ask the great question, the right question, and you restructure the question again and refine it further. I have used it, and I can tell you, especially ChatGPT is very, very powerful, and now it will blow. If you have not used it, I'm sure you would like to use it. Try it out; it will blow your mind. And how can within few seconds you have so much information, and that too you're not thinking about it. Now you have that the source of information. So yeah, but use it properly, of course, and be careful with the wording. And I know some people use ChatGPT for writing application for PgMP or PfMP. But again, risk is because this is a generic tool. It will give you information in the set standard. If you don't ask the right question, it will just keep giving you set standard information. And if anybody who's familiar with this tool, they can easily figure out that this is a outcome of artificial chat GPT or something. So be mindful before when you use this tool. You can use them, but get the information, convert that into your own style and your language, so that it's still yours, your way of saying, with guidance from these tools can be very, very useful. I hope this makes sense. And I'm telling you from my own experience, not running a big portfolio just like Dana. All right. Okay, let me go to the question which was asked previously by Brian, and he's also ask another question here. Brian, thank you for asking. Um what are good practices for allowing a candidate project onto the portfolio? Who is the best to decide what's in the portfolio and prioritize within? What is the process for removing a project from the portfolio when organization goals and budget change? Another lengthy question.
Um, let's see, several questions. The first one, the good criteria is I it should be the similar criteria for all projects. Your strategic drivers are based on your organizational strategy and objectives, and so they should address candidate projects as well. So just some he was asking about good criteria. Uh, so some of the examples would be your custom and I don't know what the particulars are of the candidate project, what the details are, but customer service, cost savings, operational and compliance, operational effectiveness, which includes things like standards, centralization, consolidation, synergy,
Mhm.
cost avoidance. That's all tucked up under your operational effectiveness. Public safety and welfare, environmental, decreasing pollution, increasing resilience due to climate change, or even diversity, equity, and inclusion. Um, Projects that are allowing for language and accessibility, or things like inclusion among demographics. So those are just some examples for strategic drivers. Um, and then, obviously those are the, you would assign weights to those factors, and it should all, uh, tie back to your organizational strategy and objectives. The next question was who is best to decide what's in the portfolio and the priorities within. And that depends on your organization. Some organizations uh, are larger and would have cross-functional governance boards. That's what we do here at Baltimore County. But there are smaller companies or companies that just have different management techniques, have executive management making the decisions.
Yeah.
The next question was, what is the process? Or I'm sorry, Darren, did you have something to add to that?
No, no, they keep
No.
going.
Oh, okay. And then what is the process for removing a project from the portfolio when organizational goals and budgets change? Was just saying about removing a project, but I think first you would want to assess, determine whether you're removing it uh, and canceling it, or are you just delaying it for a later time? So making
Mm,
that assessment, um, uh, accessing or assessing the project for deliverables that may be transitioned to another project. Um, uh, Checking for project dependencies and how they're going to affect the rest of the portfolio. You want to communicate the change with your stakeholders. You're going to want to gather whatever information you had, whether it was a business case. Obviously, you did some initial research for the project to even be in your portfolio. Take whatever documentation you have, and if maybe there was planned funding for that project, and obviously you just want to kind of gather up that documentation, transition or transfer funding, and kind of just do, kind of close out that project and close that loop. And then anytime you make a change to your portfolio, it's a good idea to uh, you review your portfolio, take a look at the risks again, your financial metrics, and resource allocations.
yeah, perfect. Thank you. When it comes to risk and issue management, I ensure and honor take responsibility to run it down and own it till the end. What's your view on assigning risk to individuals that may not want the risk, and how do you get them, accept the risk and own it? That's the big issue with the most risk system. The PMO can coordinate, but I feel they cannot own the risk or issue as they are not the best place to run them down.
So just kind of unpacking that. So we have for risk and issue management, and so is it that they're trying to reassign it outside the PMO and that they don't want to own it? And I think again, you need to identify roles and responsibilities throughout your organization or your project team, and um, you know, it, uh, and I think you do want to assess who the best resource would be to run it down, because or somebody who is a risk owner doesn't necessarily resolve the risk. They're just responsible for uh, overseeing it and overseeing that it comes to a resolution, getting the right people involved to do that.
Yeah,
So I think, assessing who the right people would be. Um, and as far as if they don't want to own it, um, maybe again, you want to rally your troops, and let them know, we're assigning this to you. You're the best person to get this resolved. You know the right players. Maybe it's a customer relationship manager, so they're going to know the users and get the right business users involved to run down this risk. So I think maybe giving them that understanding of why they're the best person, why they were chosen. You were chosen because you have these skill sets, and we need those skill sets and the knowledge that you have in order to get this resolved. So,
Exactly.
Dharam, do you have any thoughts?
No, no, that, look, we are assigning risk as a risk owner. You're not just assigning to anyone. You're doing all the thinking who's the right person and why this person should own this risk because they have best position and they have the required knowledge and skills for handling that risk. And yeah, so you need to communicate with them and provide them the reason or justification why he or she is the risk owner for that and make sure you get their buy-in for that risk because the last thing you want you allocate it assign and nobody's looking after that risk which is a disaster.
Right.
Great. So how do you address project requests that repeatedly fail to get funding because higher priority projects have all the funding? The back office people who need these projects feel red-headed stepchildren. How do you especially I think this is more from the government organizations where you get or maybe private as well.
So I think what I'm hearing is the poor back office people, because I'm one of the poor back office people, uh, did not receive funding for their project. Um,
Because your other projects which higher
all
priority they
right,
get take away the funding and the
eh,
other some of the
right,
project has to keep waiting.
right. So, I think two schools of thought here. One, sometimes you have to wait your turn. The portfolio is that big picture look, and not everybody can get into that portfolio. Sometimes, public safety, they're going to get that money because it's public safety. And so I would think that you need to just build your business case, identify, cost savings or whatever the benefits are for that project. So it could be a matter of, maybe just not yet building your case so that going forward you can provide that justification, maybe speaking with stakeholders so that they understand what the benefits would be so that you can get that backing. But again, or taking a look at your strategic drivers, your organization's goals and objectives, and trying to determine where you fit in.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if it's either going to outrank another project during the prioritization process, or it isn't. And so you might need to rethink your plan and your business case for funding the project.
yeah. And the thing is that when for the sponsor that their project is the highest priority and but the portfolio has to see which project is the right is the right time for this project based on the
Right,
organization strategies or other factors we have to go through. Yes, sometimes it happens that other high priority projects take the precedence, and your project has to wait for longer time because it's not the right time. It's not the right fitting at the moment.
right,
Um, if you can justify the reason why a project should be a high priority, you should do that by providing all the facts and figures.
right.
Otherwise,
And I
you
feel
just
for you,
yeah,
because I know that the information technology department, we do all this work for everybody else, and sometimes we can't help ourselves, right?
yeah,
We can't get that funding to make us more efficient and help us to be able to provide that service. So yeah, I definitely see the struggle with that.
yeah. So let me take the next question here from Ashok. I feel planning is very important. Using a Gantt chart is critical, but with agile system, it is very hard to use such a system. What is the method to bridge that gap? I manage risk in the plan and resources, but in agile system, we simply have sprints which are black holes in my mind. So the tools we can use, traditional project, we can use some Gantt chart or some other system to plan it out. But agile system, I think it's not typical project. We can line up the activities. And any experience you have done on this?
Yes, I can see an issue about not using a system, because if you're not using a system, then I'm wondering, you're not going to have that picture into your resource and your resource hours and who has availability. So I think, you really need to figure out a process or figure out how to best um, uh, take that agile and you know eh, get it into your system so that you can have that picture or whatever your process might be. I know that we have larger projects that we definitely have into a system, but then we also have smaller projects and using uh, ADO, which is where the programmers and the tech folks keep track of the work that they're doing. And I know that we're doing some way of being able to track the smaller work or smaller sprints using that system. But and also being able to report resource time and be able to report out of both systems. And I know that it's we have our challenges because we have a resource customer relationship managers who working with the different departments in our government, because our IT department is centralized here at Baltimore County, and we provide services to all 26 departments, and they need to have the ability to see all the work that's going on so that they can um, communicate and report to their different departments. So yeah, so I would say trying to find the right system that's going to work with you.
Yeah. Okay. We take another question here. I believe business must have a portfolio management strategy, perfect, roadmap, and a blueprint in place, or that should be in place to be successful. As a management consultant, I find usually more than what I would like that to not have the portfolio strategy in place. What's your process to convince a business that a portfolio approach that manages benefit delivery is the only successful approach? That's providing you feel benefit management is a good idea.
Have felt the same pain or trying to get that understanding. I think it's getting management buy-in. You really need to be prepared to talk to portfolio management. What it because I don't know I don't feel like everybody knows what it is, what the benefits are for portfolio management. So I think sometimes it's rather hard because people have for so long been at the project level. And again, in the beginning of our session, I talked about portfolio management being a different art to it. It's that big picture and it's that strategic planning. And I think a lot of times businesses and folks get so busy that they're just reactive and putting out fires. And you really need to be able to get people to buy in and take the time to do the strategic planning. You do that planning, things will go so much smoother later. And I think, just having people understand what portfolio management is, what the benefits are, and, how that will help them run so much smoother. So, I don't know about some of these businesses, and hopefully you um, just aren't dealing with somebody who is more of a reactionary type. And, because if they're not a planner, going to be hard to convince them. So, but myself, obviously, I'm in this position. I'm a planner. I'm an organizer. I'd like to see things laid out. I need to know where we're going. I need to know what that big picture is. And, some people, they either don't run that way or they have the big picture, but it's in their head and hard for the rest of the organization to move forward if it's not out there, if it's not laid out there and communicated to the rest of the organization. How are they supposed to know what direction they're headed in if it's not out there and documented?
Right. And this is going to be our last question here. Every successful project depends on its resources and team. What's your approach to assigning and ensuring the team gets on together and work as well-oiled team? Example, praising success, rewarding key milestone, healthy inward team competition. It's a good question, very good question.
Yeah, I'm all about rallying the troops. And I believe, here at Baltimore County, we have that cross-functional group as part of the governance board. So they're taking a look at the projects and hearing about them as they go through the approval process and go through the steps. And so I think, it's important, not only at these governance meetings and, these and making sure um, the managers that attend the meetings get the information funneled down to their team. You're having your project kickoff meetings, and so that should be laying out the project and the reasons and the benefits for the project, as well as my organization has town hall meetings, and we will go over projects and the importance of the projects, and so that should get that buy-in and making sure you have all the right people involved through you're not going to have everybody in your governance board meetings, but getting the right folks together from the beginning, so that they are a part of it, feel that they're a part of it, um, and that they're rallying for a cause, because each project has their benefits, for getting that project done. And I don't know, working for the government, I feel that, uh, you know, I, I'm sure it's the same way for private industry. I've been in government for the past 20 years, and my private industry was earlier on in my career. But there's always something. And what I was going to say about government is that I live in Baltimore County, working on projects, and there's a whole portfolio assisting all these different departments that provide services to the constituents. And I just always feel good about my job and rally because I know I'm doing good for the place that I live. I'm doing good for the people. And so, either doing good for the people, for your customers, for the company and making money, and that benefits them, finding what is important to the folks on your team that will make them rally and be supportive of the project.
Right. I mean, we need to find the purpose. Basically, we need to make sure that everybody understand the purpose and they are
Right.
motivated, excited. And of course, you can bring, team building activities and some motivational or maybe bonus factor into this. So what you're looking for, all these things can be important, but what you're looking for a cohesive team, a team environment where people like to come and work and contribute contribute back to the organization and to the end user. So if you
Right.
can connect the team with the purpose, this is our purpose, this is why we exist here, and your contribution is every step is very important. When people realize that whatever they're doing is making a difference to the entire project, program, portfolio, and to the organization, they feel good about it and they like to contribute back.
Right.
Um, yeah, so that's where I could suggest, and thank you for your contribution. And guys, thank you. It was great. So many questions from so many people, and I have not seen so many webinars where I have so many questions to and going beyond the time. I like to stay, and I know we gone 60 minutes past, 16 minutes past, but I like to make sure whatever you question you ask, we try to get back to you in the time frame and work with you to ensure that you get the results. Thank you, all of you, and your active participation was important. And Dana, you have been great. You did really good job. Yes, some of the
Thank
questions we have talked about, and some of the questions you
right.
got it. And you did really well out of on this question. Thank you for your help.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I want to thank everybody for coming and attending and asking these really great questions. And I know Dharam has talked about hopefully in the future, maybe you will be here, and I hope to attend your sessions and to hear from your perspectives. Because we're all in this together, and good to learn from each other. So
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you all of you guys. And yeah, if you want to talk to me, I'm happy to. You can book my time. Very simple. Talktodharam.com. www.talktodharam.com. You can book my time and discuss whether you want to discuss any of the question which you want to discuss and could not have could not find time, or PgMP PfMP, or you want to join my program, which program best. And I'm sure Dana is also open for LinkedIn connection or some sharing the information.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm very happy, and I'm happy with the outcome, and thank you for all this, whatever we've gone through, the questions, so many questions, and somebody said, can you please share the show? I mean, video code was already shared on the chat. So if you have not seen, please check the video chat, and you will see this. Please check and let me know. Okay. If you cannot find, let me know. I will help you later. All right, guys. So with this, thank you very much, and I will see you soon again, or you will see me soon again with another participant very very soon. I think by end of the month I have another program coming up. Actually, not yet. 22nd or 23rd. And there's another webinar which is organized by Michigan chapter for the risk management. They have invited me there. Normally, I invite people. They invited me. So keep an eye on the LinkedIn post, and keep asking and talking to each other, and love your job. Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.